Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
I'm a relationship hacker.
Run up and get touched up, suicide. And all of y'all know my style. I excel, then prevail. Run up and get touched up, suicide, that's it. And all of y'all know my style. I excel, then prevail.
It's 2017, and I'm not playing no games. Ladies and gentlemen, the ZoWhat Morning Show has returned for the new year. Oh, it's about to get ugly. It is about to get really ugly. I don't want to pull no punches today because I think it's important that we have these difficult discussions. Because currently, where we sit in the world ain't a cool place. So we're going to have to undo some stuff that we've been doing, or we've been too long. Damn it. I've got to do it. We're going to have a tough conversation today, but you know how we do to kick off the new year. I'm Zoe Williams, known as the voice of reason, the resident philosopher. We have Dr. Mark Goulston. He calls himself Mr. Diversity. Jesus Christ. The master of pussyfootery, Dr. G. Oh, God. Listen, no Jeff Brown today. He's in New York getting some work in. We love him. He'll be back next week. No Kevin today. Kevin is a personal trainer. Somebody offered him some money, and he had to go get that money. But we've got folk in the building. Longtime homeboy. Musician, producer, singer, philosopher. People don't know the philosopher side of this dude. It's been hidden, obfuscated from the public. But now he is ascending to the throne so that he may teach and lead. My good friend Stephen Russell from Troop. I done called the group Truth. No, it's Troop.
Total respect of other people.
There it is, man. He's in the building. And we got another brother coming up later to represent for all the Christians out there. But before I even get into that, let me do what I do. And that's promote black-owned businesses.
Nice.
I got to promote businesses because this is how we recycle black dollars, period. So let's get right to it. First, I have a radio promo for all fledgling black-owned businesses, okay? Or any business. You don't have to be black. I mean, just any business that's struggling, that's within the sound of my voice. I have a deal, an offer for you. If you go to my GoFundMe page, www.gofundme.com/Zoe Williams. Zoe is spelled Z-O, not Z-O-E. That would be Zoe. Right? If you go to www.gofundme.com/ZO Williams for a one-time offer, with a donation contribution of $200, I'll promote your business for 4 weeks straight on this international platform.
That's dope.
That's actually cheap. Look, John, the white man over here is like, what the fuck? John offered to be my manager today because he says I don't get any money from this.
Right.
He was like, should I manage you? You fucking up, right? For $200, I'll promote your small business for 4 weeks straight. Is that a good deal, John? Where's your mic? John is a little pissed off right now.
No.
It's not. That's not a good deal?
No, I mean, do it.
I shouldn't do that?
I mean, you can do more.
I'm fucking
You've
up?
already said it.
It's out there.
It's out there now.
Well, once it's out there, you can't pull it back.
We should have had this talk before we started, but
we? Oh, you part of the team already? Okay, turn your mic on.
I'm not.
Jesus. So anyway, any small business out there that's struggling, get at me. www.gofundme.com/Zoe Williams. All you have to do, make that donation, then email me. My email address is 2319zo1@gmail.com. 2319zo1@gmail.com. There it is right there. and I'll begin promoting your business. So with that said, let me promote the first business to do that. Power in One Clothing. PIOclothing.com. Power in One Clothing. They got some of the flyest t-shirts. They've sent me several boxes of t-shirts. Very fly, super dope gear. Power in One Clothing. PIOclothing.com. Get at them. They are ZoWhat Voice of Reason supporters for real. We've got a new supporter on deck. Benson Watch. BensonWatch.com. They dropped $200. Nice. They supported with $200 today. Benson Watch. We're going to have the brother in. He's going to bring some watches in for us to rock. Black-owned business. Jeez, black-owned business is making his own watches.
Nice.
Some very good, nice watches at that. Go to BensonWatch.com. Benson, you remember Benson, the TV show? Yeah, Robert Guillaume. Okay, he's 7. I shouldn't ask. Okay. Anyway, right. BensonWatch.com. Please continue to support. I want you guys to go cash mob them ASAP. Cash mob PIO Clothing. Who else do we have on deck? Everybody's been asking me over the holiday, who did your app? Who did your app? Mindblowingmobile.com. Mindblowingmobile.com. This sister, her name is Wanda Trotter. She developed my app. The app is on fire.
I got to check that out.
Do you understand? The app is retarded. It's a store.
Wow.
See, people don't understand.
I need that.
Since the advent of the iPhone turned the phone into a store.
Yeah.
You got the iStore, where you buy your apps. You got the iTunes, where you buy your music. It's a store. Yeah. So every website is a store. And now websites have turned into apps. So every app is a store, an online store. So she developed my online store. There you can get coaching. You can buy my book. Nice. You can get everything. I mean, updates. You can get everything that I'm doing. You get it right there on the app. That's right. Well, this sister developed it. A black sister, black-owned business. Awesome. Mindblowingmobile.com. Go cash mob the Kool-Aid up out of her. Do you feel me? Go support that. Yeah. And then also, I want to extend this. The holiday weekend was good for the mother of my 2 oldest kids, my children. A lot of you guys supported her, buying her cakes and candy and all of that stuff. ShepherdSweets.com. Y'all know that candy and those cakes. And I'm going to say this about you. That's why I didn't bring this shit, Doc. Because Doc is greedy as hell when it comes to the candy. Every week, Doc hovers around what's left and absconds with it. He steals the candy and the cake. There was a whole cake last. Hey, is this okay if I take it to the family? You're not gonna let nobody get a slice?
Well, it's like taking candy from some babies.
Oh, jokes? Do you think it's Jeff is not here that you can? Okay. All right, turn his mic off.
I'll go back to my. I'll go back to my corner. That's a diversity corner, Yeah.
Jesus. All right. So again, Shepherd Sweets, you guys have supported her strong. Please continue to do so. She's got all of these cake pops and sweet potato cakes and toffees and candy crack, and it's crazy. She's doing a big, what's this thing she's doing? She's doing a big, what's the next holiday? Valentine's Day. She's doing a big Valentine's Day push. So if you want to get your girl some candy, some cakes, and all of these confections made into hearts and all type of weirdness, she's the one. ShepherdSweets.com. Let's see. What else I got? Oh, right here. Black-owned business. Let me tell you a little bit about this right here. It's called Total Package. It's an energy drink made by a dude much like you, Hassan, a metaphysical, spiritual philosopher trainer.
Awesome.
So he's just not teaching you how to get stronger through weights and training and nutrition. He's also hitting you upside the dome piece with spiritual stuff.
Nice.
He trained some 49ers. He's up in the Bay. He trained Damon Lillard. He trained my son this past summer for a week straight. And when I tell you on some qigong, like we're lifting weights, but you're breathing. Hold your breath. Let this one breath out over a 20-second period. I mean, he's like ill with it, right? This dude is amazing. He created his own energy drink. Now, if you're like me, I got some bullshit coffee. You know, I will drink a Red Bull. I'm bullshitting. I know I'm bullshitting. You ain't got to correct me. I'm bullshitting, okay? I'll drink a 5-hour energy, but let me tell you, I'm on this now. I had one of these this morning, and I've been off the walls ever since.
I never drink any of it.
But what I know about this, brother, I read the ingredients. Ain't no bullshit in it. It's all natural. You know, some L-arginine. You know what L-arginine does for you, man. Right? You got all of that in it. Yohimbe and all types of other stuff. It's good stuff, man. Total package. What I want you to do is go to totalpackageenergy.com. Check out his website right now. Tell him Zo sent you. Because you know what he wanted to do? He said, man, if we sell this, we'll give part of the proceeds back to your GoFundMe campaign. So I want y'all to go support this man hardcore in the paint right now. TotalPackageEnergy.com. That's the real. I appreciate the brother. I didn't even say his name. Anthony Eagleton up in the Bay Area. Yeah. Ooh. When I tell you he's the real deal, if you got a kid that needs any kind of training, sports training, movement, oh man, this dude is incredible, man. He's going to get you stronger, get you better. And he's got a product here, Total Package Energy Shot. Y'all got to get it. TotalPackageEnergy.com. All right. Now that that's done, let me get over to Dr. G real quick. Dr. Mark Goulston, I know you have things to promote, i.e. your books.
Yeah, Talking to Crazy. Oprah featured it. It was a finalist in the Audible Oscars, and it's on special for $1.99 on Kindle for this month. $1.99. You got anybody in your life who's driving you crazy, even yourself? This will teach you how to talk to them and talk them down.
And talk to yourself?
And talk to yourself. Talk yourself out of it. I actually figured out the MO of President-elect Trump, but I don't want to undermine him just in case he does something that helps the world, which is a long shot. The other thing is I'm actually you don't see me on radio, but you can pick it up later. I'm growing this scruffy, ugly beard because I'm touring as Steve Jobs returns. So I used to channel people when I trained hostage negotiators and dealt with suicidal people. So I don't play him. I am him, and wow. There's about 3 or 4 venues, and I just signed to do. Luckily, I'm doing it from here. I'm going to do a webinar on Steve Jobs' return in Pakistan.
That's awesome.
But I'm going to do it from my office here because, you know, given that I'm a Jew, they'd kill me. But I'll keep you posted when that's going to be.
Thanks, Dr. G, for the update on some bullshit.
Yeah.
Hey, no, go support Dr. G.
And when I come back after the break, I'll speak as Steve Jobs. You'll see I'm not this pussy ass doctor that I usually am.
You cussing now? 2017. Up in this
I'm getting revved up. I'm getting revved up. That's my reality distortion field.
Yeah. New Dr. G, bitch. Okay, I'm sorry. Come back. Steve Russell.
Yes, sir.
Do you have something to promote, my good friend?
Yes, I would like to promote some of my music. I would like to promote my album, The Wedding Singer, my latest release. It's available on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, all that good stuff. I would like to also promote my radio show, The Hart of R&B, with my co-host, Miss Chalet.
Out of Boston.
Yeah, out of Boston, WZBR, the base of Boston.
There we go.
The first black station in that area in a long time. Show's really doing good. If you want to follow the show, you can get the Base of Boston app, or you can get the TuneIn app and just go to WZBR and tune in every day from 2 to 4 Eastern Standard Time.
If you listen to this guy's voice, you got to buy anything he's ever talked into or sang into. I mean, it is like fucking knife through butter.
Wow, Dr. G, he had got a beard and started tripping.
Wait till I try Total Package during the freaking break.
Total Package, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, don't give me one of those.
That's exactly what I was thinking about his voice.
Hey, get on the mic, man. We ain't just. I need you to promote We Juice, man.
So We Juice is always here. We have any type of program you need. We need energy, immunity, detox, recovery. We got a special for the ZoWhat listeners for the next couple months. You can order any package, customize your program. You get 15% off if you apply the code ZoWhat.
15% off.
15% off.
That's dope.
You figure deals. Get the We Juice.
And in the next couple months, I'm going to run a cleanse because everybody always try to improve their fitness before,
Detox.
During the holidays or during the New Year. So in the next couple weeks, I'm going to do a 3-day cleanse. For people who want to get on the 3-day cleanse, it's going to be 20% off.
Well, there it is.
So in the next couple months, I'm going to promote that, and you'll see. I'll shout out for you guys and see the details of that program.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the community empowerment segment. Listen, it doesn't count if you don't go support. It doesn't matter if you don't go and recycle your dollars into fledgling businesses that are trying to get up. And they're Black owned. So let's support that. Let's run with that. Again, I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason on ZoWhat Morning Show today. This is our community empowerment. Support it, support it, support it. I'm about to take a quick break, but when I return, Dr. G's Toolbox. ZoWhat, we out. Holla. The ZoWhat Morning Show has returned. It's about to get heated up in here. But before we get the topic off, we got to do Dr. G's Toolbox. But Dr. G is out right now. He's having a psychotic split. Sitting in for him is Steve Jobs. Could you do our relationship toolbox, Ghost of Steve Jobs?
Don't fuck with me, man. When I spoke at Stanford, gave that commencement speech, and I said something. I said, you can't connect the dots going forward. You can only connect the dots going backwards, hope they'll connect in your future. I ran out of future. So I'm back to connect some dots. And the dots I'm going to connect today are maybe religion is passe. You know what religion is? It's for the masses. It's kind of press pause to play, but it turned into pause and pray and then pause and pay. Because the masses just cannot pause. They shoot from the hip instead of their head. You can do this mindfulness stuff. It's a little bit too woo-woo. It's as woo-woo as religious is kind of culty. Now, we're introducing something at Apple, and it's mindfulness, it's religion, it's spirituality, and we're calling it I Believe. Keep tuned for that.
Okay, let me just say, you as Steve Jobs, you're terrible. You just started cursing.
Well, okay, I'll back.
You didn't sound like Steve Jobs.
Well,
I was expecting for a transformation.
He had more of a nasal voice than me. I'm working on it, but Fassbender couldn't get it either.
You just keep diagnosing people, man. Just leave the acting to the actors. Okay, so today's topic, after after Steve Jobs' setup. Listen, I've said it before. All jokes aside, is religion the problem? Should humanity have left religion in 2016? Has God been an absentee father your entire life? Has God been a deadbeat to you spiritually? That's tough. That's hard to deal with. It. A deeper look at whether or not the belief in Jesus, Moses, and Allah, and whoever else should follow us into 2017. I know that's a tough one to ask. But when you look at the deaths associated with religion, the wars, the fighting, the complicated relationships. I mean, you're a Jew. The relationship, right, with Palestine and Israel. Well, how long has that beef been?
Over 1,000.
Come on. Shit's crazy, right? So my question is, how do we now undo our hold or its hold on us? Were Kim Burrell and Pastor Shirley Caesar correct about their views on homosexuality? You know, it's shit. God said they were an abomination, right? The Bible says homosexuals are an abomination. So were they right or
God said
wrong?
or the Bible said?
How about it? Yeah, we're going to make a distinction. It's coming.
Oh, okay.
True or false? You break it, you buy it, and marry it. In the Bible, if a man rapes a woman,
Yep.
their punishment was to marry the woman and then pay a dowry to the father.
Well, you know that that right there, the raping of the woman and her becoming the raping of a woman becoming your consort comes from very ancient times. That's well before the Bible.
Wow, people need to know.
Yes.
People need to know. Like,
Yeah,
the Bible is relatively new.
Yes.
Most people think it's
The beginning.
It was written on the seventh day.
Yeah,
No,
right.
it wasn't. No. Right? Does Jesus Christ, or let's just ask, true or false, Jesus Christ himself was moot on the issue of slavery. Jesus never renounces slavery. Was the Bible written in an era of slavery? In other words, was it cool when slavery? It was cool, right?
Yeah, slavery existed during the creation of Council of Nicaea, for sure.
Wow.
No question.
No wonder the KKK thinks it's okay.
Well, I mean, there's things in there, there's scriptures that support certain ideologies.
Yes. And we need to deal with it
Yeah.
because we can't act like it's not affecting people today. So my question to the panel, right?
Nice.
Is there a better way to live without religion?
Yeah.
Can we interface with God minus dogma?
Yeah.
I want to throw in the conversation about just the word believe,
Yes.
because
Wow.
a lot of people don't believe in themselves. A lot of people don't believe in others. That's getting increasingly true. And so the question is, do you need to believe in something to proceed forward in your life? Because let's just make, is there a need to believe, a human need to believe something? And what if you believe nothing?
Well, I mean, belief in itself is tricky, except for when it comes to your own inner vision or what's in alignment with self. If you believe in something that's in alignment with self, that's different than believing in something somebody says to you. Because what you see, the vision that the creator within you came here to manifest is alive and well. So if you believe in that, if you're in tune to that, then your belief is beneficial.
So something that Zoe brings up almost every show, he's going to bring it up today, and we talk about the narrative. Well, no, we talk about the narrative. So the narrative you're believing inside yourself. Part of what we talk about, the problem for the black community, is they're believing the white narrative in terms of what's valuable. They throw money outside of the thing. So what narrative are you believing in, and whose is it? Is it yours or what?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry.
No, finish.
Oh, that's what I'm saying exactly. The only narrative trusting enough is that God within you that's trying to remind you of what you've forgotten when you came through that womb, the plan that was placed before you slid in. You forgot. So there are catalysts that you set up for yourself to remind you along the way, hey, remember this? Remember this? Oh, remember this? But in the flesh, you get into a bad relationship, you'll notice that it's bad before it's helpful.
Yikes. Hassan,
You know?
But who tells us that we have to believe all the stuff we believe in?
yes.
I mean, that's the whole thing. Who tells
Your
us?
grandma? Your
Because
mama?
if we believe in self, if we love ourselves, then we can do more for others because we love ourselves, so we can always love other people.
Yes.
So while we
Yes.
have all these stresses of doing other things that we don't know.
Yeah. Well, the thing about spell binding somebody, putting a spell on someone, is to take away that which is them from them. You know, if I can take God from you and tell you you're unworthy of that which is already you, that's the biggest. That's the biggest spell.
So here's a challenge. So, is there a way to love yourself without becoming too self-absorbed or self-involved in a negative way? Or, are they all, how do you separate those?
Well, it depends on where ego plays. See, Jesus says that the kingdom of heaven is within you, right? Everybody knows that God resides in heaven. So if Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven resides in you, that means God is in you, period. Right? So when you get that, you have to watch ego, because we carry other selves like jackets. We carry other personalities like jackets. And sometimes we give certain egos and certain parts of self the right to be the upfront representative. And that's where ego comes in. Being too self-absorbed, being lascivious at a point is a human nature. So everybody would have to be at some point concerned if power is becoming too much, if money, success is becoming too much, where they have to be grounded or have a certain element around them to keep them grounded. I think any person that's a human would have to check that after a certain point. But there's a virtue of selfishness that we have been denied in our education down the line generationally, that being selfish is bad or a negative, and it's just not true. You need a virtue of selfishness in order to stand for self. You need it. The people around you are going to be more selfish with you than you are yourself. Just watch.
Someone told me that your God is what you pursue. If you pursue money, if you pursue power, that's your God.
Well, it depends on the perception of it. The perception of what you're pursuing.
Say more about that.
Well, if you perceive happiness to be having a lot of money, then you're pursuing a perception that was given to you by TV, your neighborhood, the guys in your hood with the car, you see them with the money. You have this perception that brings happiness. So the life that you have outside of this large amount of money creates a less than frequency for you. If this is what you perceive to be happiness, right?
No. Yeah.
And this is why they say that can become your idol, can become your God. Like for me, I can look back now pursuing music. My pursuit to become a successful singer, songwriter became an idol for me at a period in my pursuit, because I believed that what I was pursuing was going to get me to the promised land of happiness and the land of God, period. I knew that once I made it to a certain success that I thought was success, that I was going to be this happy guy. God resides there each and every day, because in ignorance, you don't know that God resides in the lack as well as the... You take God out of things. We'll get to that later. But
I got to ask you a question, because you just hit on something. Did you reach a point in your life, in your career, where you felt music was an expression of you as opposed to a vehicle to get something that was missing in you?
Beautiful question.
That's great question.
Beautiful question. When I started out as a singer and songwriter at the ripe age of 13 years old, my pursuit was following the desire that was within me. I happened to be a young child connected to the source. I believed that my dancing skills and my low-key singing skills were going to be beneficial to me at some point. And this was at an early age. As I got older and started to pursue music, the pursuit was to fulfill the desire of my heart, right? But once you get family, you get married, you get dissension, you get the life starts to hit the dream. And now, because you've created a certain lifestyle, you're doing the music because you got to pay these bills now, or because you have to pay child support, or because you have to take care of this wife, or you have to keep up with this image that you've created while chasing success.
Oh, wait.
All that stuff. That stuff is a part of it.
So now you're telling me religion is the safe room.
Well, religion.
That's something like that little vest you put on when you're in the water, that little safety vest. Yeah. Because when you got all of these other things happening in your life, you need something to take the pressure off psychologically.
Yes.
And maybe saying, oh, God, help me with this, or, you see what I'm saying?
It's much easier being taught. I mean, it is in our DNA that God is outside of us.
In our DNA?
We have to accept this. We've been taught generation after generation after generation that you humble yourself and pray, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying this is a negative thing for whoever believes in that, but we've been taught that we're praying to a God that is outside of us in the sky. We believe that it's in the heavens. We believe God is up there.
We've been taught the separation of God and man.
Yes,
right.
And you can blow on the back of your hand right now. Challenge any of you to blow on the back of your hand, and you're going to feel God on the back of your hand right now. And it's going to come from within you. You are the master creator. That's why you're here. You came in the flesh to be magical and experience God in the flesh. We came from the frequency of love. That's why most of us are in search of love. And each one of those moments is real.
Oh man.
I just got a flash of whatever. I hope before it leaves my brain.
You get flashes?
No. He's driving me crazy in a good way.
You sure it's not
I'm
Alzheimer's?
going to swear again. I'm going to make it happen. I was just thinking, when something bad happens,
Yes.
what's the difference between saying, oh God, versus oh fuck?
Okay.
And the difference that I'm intuiting is
Listen,
when you
come on.
When you say, "Oh God," it's almost like I'll surrender to you. Help me get through this. It's a surrendering to something. Whereas when you say, "Oh fuck," it's like I'm stuck with this and I don't like it. So it's a whole different energy when you say, "Oh God." And there is a relief to surrender outside where you're stuck into.
But is
something
it coming
else.
from you?
Yeah.
Whichever
It's
one
perception.
is still coming from you.
I think what it is you're projecting onto something outside yourself when you're feeling helpless.
Yes.
So you're projecting on something when you're
Yes.
feeling helpless and alone with it. You're projecting onto something. Oh God, it's I'm feeling helpless, and so just even saying the word, there's some relief from feeling helpless. But when you say, "Oh fuck,"
but
it's
that's
like
all self. Listen, that's all. Either word is from you. So you're collapsing the reality upon either word. So as you described, oh fuck is I'm stuck. But you did that. That's different. I'm sorry. That's no different than he who thinks he can and he who thinks he can't are both right.
Thank you, Henry Ford.
Henry Ford, right?
Right.
There's no difference.
Yes.
So if it's fuck,
It's polarity.
you manifested the
Yes.
fuck. You
Yes.
manifested the stuck.
Yes.
If it's
By
oh
perception.
God, you've manifested
The freedom.
a belief and a frequency that God is going to help you. God is going to provide a remedy. You did that.
Yeah.
This is why I say there is no demarcation or boundary point where God ends and you begin.
Listen, there's nothing that is that God ain't.
How about it? That's a bag of dope.
That's
we
our
can all
perception.
smoke.
We're the ones that'll look at you and say, "Oh, he's evil. That's not of God because that's atrocious what he did." Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I can smoke a bag of that.
You see what I'm saying? We say that that's not God. But last time that I studied the universal laws, all were one. There's no individual in the all. There is no such thing as good or bad.
But that's the universal laws are bad for business.
Oh, no question.
When it comes to
Are you-
religion.
Oh, no question.
But you pastors are not teaching universal laws.
But they have but the esoteric undertone is there. And I wish more people that attended church that were religious were more into the esoteric essence of what Yeshua HaMashiach stood for when he said the kingdom of heaven is within you, when he spoke that way, because the relationship that we are supposed to be seeking is the relationship with the self that came that's housed by the flesh.
Oh, they don't understand that.
That's the relationship. We call it something. Whenever I was going to just reiterate on what you guys were talking about, the being stuck. You got to remember the only reason why you got to oh fuck was because you didn't listen to the voice saying don't do that. The real you has been guiding you the whole time saying don't do that. Don't put that in that. Add a little more sugar to that, or add a little more of this to that. That God in you is active constantly because he's the one. It's the one that came for the journey. When you get into flesh, you get caught in perception. My grandmother taught me this, and she's the greatest. And if she believed in Jesus, then I believe in Jesus. And she probably never knew that that wasn't his name.
Oh my God.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you can get stuck based on it. Willie Lynch said that we can have these black people stuck for over 500 years because we're going to get them to teach it to them. You get it?
Oh my God.
You're going to believe your mother. And if your mom teaches you some bullshit, you're going to teach your children some bullshit.
The same.
Whether you believe it or not, it does not change whether it's bullshit.
Whether it's true or not.
Thank
Oh, my
you.
God. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the ZoWhat Morning Show. We're talking about, should we leave religion in 2016? Has religion done enough harm? Has religion done enough bullshit? Now, there are going to be people out there who are apologists for, religion. And I get it. I understand. Listen, there are some good things about religion in terms of, some churches are feeding people. Mm-hmm. Some churches are housing people. Mm-hmm. I think all churches should be responsible for the community that they get their bread from. So,
come on, man.
So I'm with all of that. But when we talk about the ideology of it, this is what I always explain this to people, man. Any identity requires that you defend it. So the moment you claim anything, I'm a Christian. Well, you're enrolled in the army of Christianity. Well, I'm a Muslim. Well, you're enrolled in the army of Islam. Well, I'm a feminist. You're enrolled in the army of feminism. Yeah. Any identity must be defended because an identity is always associated with ego.
Yeah.
And ego requires defense. So when we come back,
that's awesome. I love
we're going to talk about how religion and history have been built on a platform of lies.
Oh, let's do it.
Talking about false narratives.
Yes, let's do it. An
this
allegory.
This shit's about to hit the fan. So listen, the ZoWhat Morning Show is about to take a quick break. When we return, we will continue this discussion. Zoe Williams, I'm out. I'll be back in 2.2. Ladies and gentlemen, take that in. Take that. Yeah. That KRS-One record. Why is that? Ooh, Jesus. Speaking of lies, historical lies.
Wow.
Listen, man. Some of my best friends are Jews, but everybody's afraid to have this conversation with Jews. Dr. G is one of my friends. I'm not afraid to have this conversation.
Good.
I had this conversation with Jeff Schimmel the other day. Jeff Schimmel sent me like 8 pictures of him as a teenager with an afro. And he was talking about how, I got an afro pick. I had an afro pick. That was the only way I could keep my hair out. He was like, I had to use afro sheen and everything.
Hilarious.
I was like, yeah, because
it's in you. It's up in there.
I said, it's in you. You ours. You belong to us.
Yes, man. Yes, man.
So we have this difficult conversation all the time. Like, I got another Jewish homeboy I play hoop with. I've been playing hoop with him for over 10, 15 years. And we talk hella shit on the court.
Yeah.
I'll be like, look here, you stole our culture. He says, yes, but we run the banks. He said, you can't do anything. He goes, you can't do anything about it now. We run the banks. And we have this kind of conversation. And everybody gets upset about it and offended about it. What did I tell you before we went to break? Yeah. Whenever you claim something, you're in its army.
Yes.
You have to defend the identity of it.
And you have to know it.
So in terms of speaking about propaganda.
Wow.
There's a book out there written by Lawrence Gardner. It's called The Holy Grail. Mm-hmm. A very heavy book. Mm-hmm. And he was the official archivist for the royal families in Europe. Right? He does their history. And he said in his book, don't get it twisted, history has a specific political purpose for misdirection or misguiding the masses.
No question.
Right? Yeah. Whoever wins the war gets to rewrite the history.
Yes.
So me and this guy, this Jewish guy, friend of mine, and Jeff Schimmel, we have these conversations. Like, what is a Jew? Is a
Great
Jew?
question.
Because Jews get it mixed up sometimes. Is it an ethnicity
Or religion.
or is it a religion?
All right.
Well, it's an ethnicity. Wait, hold on.
Wait.
hold on. I was watching a commercial the other day, and I'm saying this is where people get pimped,
Yeah, man.
right? Because all of this is going to tie together, and then I'm going to throw it to y'all. The commercial I was watching was a makeup commercial, but all of the people were talking about diversity. Oh, I wear, my skin tone is this. I'm from this country. Or my skin tone is that. I wear this. And then there was this white girl who said, well, my father is Dutch and my mother is English. Wait a minute. Those are European Caucasians.
Yes.
So you're getting your ethnicity mixed up with your nationality.
Yes.
Two different things.
Yes, man. I love it.
You
I
see?
love it, man.
So there's two different things.
I love keeping it real.
So now we have to keep it real.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to have this conversation, but I'm not afraid to do it.
Me either.
So if you look up the stock of the people who are in Israel today, genetically speaking, they're
Polish.
They're Polish and
Europeans.
they're
Yes.
European.
And
So my question now is, and I'm gonna start with Doc, is it an ethnicity or a religion? And do you have the right to claim that place that is considered to be the Holy Land? How did it happen? Who brought it about? Was it the 6-Day War in the 40s? How did it happen? Give us some insight, some clarity. Because you got black people over there too that are being treated bad.
slaves.
There's racial discrimination in the holy city.
Yeah.
There's Ethiopians over there who claim a
Big
right to
time.
it. So how do we reconcile that? Doc?
Love it. Love it.
Well, that's a great question because I am a Jew, and is that ethnic or is that religious? And I was just thinking, when you think of a Christian, do you think of a Christian as ethnic or a religion? I mean, it get a religion.
You think it's a religion?
But when you think of I'm a Christian, that's my religion. I'm a Jew. Is that it's my religion or is that my ethnicity? And
religion.
Yeah. I mean that's what it should be. But when people say you're a Jew, it's often seen in an ethnic way,
yes.
and in many ways, it's an ethnic slur, which is why they surround the wagons.
Yeah.
And in terms of Palestine and all that stuff, you probably have more facts in this than me because I'm not a historical scholar. But it seemed like not too many people wanted the Jews, after Europe. And it was like PTSD to go back to Europe. And so it was like, well, let's give them a place in the desert. Let's give them a place that, doesn't really have much. And then what happened is because they were resourceful when they felt somewhat protected, they built this thing. Now they've built something that other people want. I mean, if they had stayed just in the desert without building up anything, they could be living in a place that nobody else wanted. So is it their fault that, okay, you want to put us in the desert, in the Holy Land? Well, we're going to be resourceful and build it into something. Well, now you have something that we all want because you built it into something. So it's I don't think it's a clear kind of thing, but I want to hear from Steve.
I see you, Steve. I feel
Go on,
you.
Steve.
Come on.
Go on, rip me a new one, and I'll go hide in Steve Jobs.
I didn't say nothing, man.
Look, you didn't have to. Just say it, man.
Well,
You gonna speak on the Khazars?
Well, just from my perspective, studying the ethnicity of the people in the Bible for so long, I was a Christian and I never knew where color came in, who was what, yet and still in the life that I live, there's something wrong with being black and having this spongy, kinky hair, that we were given by this God, right? So the first question that came to me as a youngster coming up is, does this God have something against me? Right?
Ooh.
Right? So the older that I got with the question, does this God have something against me because of my kinky, spongy, nappy hair and my skin that everybody has something against? I started to study the ethnicities of other races, right? And the wool has been pulled over black people's heads, over their eyes, period.
Wait. You're saying something. Wait. You just said something very powerful. And I want to say it another way and then throw it back to. Can you imagine being the source of all of this?
Come on.
Then being made to believe
that everything about your richness is bad.
Is evil.
Yes. People are looking for gold in the ground, and the melanin in your skin is more profitable. Wow. The melanin in your kidneys and in your liver is more profitable than gold in the ground.
Jesus.
The melanin that is housed in black skin is carrying more resources of this energy, of this consciousness. We're the same color as the ground, right? And I just want to stay on point. I'm going to get back to the promised land thing.
I love it.
Going back before the Polish Europeans became Jews, and this holy land where you said there was something built there. Mm-hmm. There was something there before anybody came there. In as we are humans, the Luluamu.
Yeah.
Before we came along, there was something there that was very important to the creator gods. Let us make man in our image. Those who came here and said, let us. Oh, you see that over there? Let's put our essence on that and make something a little like us. Those creator gods, they had a spaceport there. If you look at where the temples are,
Zechariah extension and
yes,
Sitchin and all of this,
yes.
Yeah.
If you look at where those temples
gold
are,
of the gods.
If you look at where those temples are, that is a ancient space port.
Space.
Where the people who owns it, the struggle for obtaining that area is for the return of the Lord. Right? Those who own that, by the time the cycle of those creator gods come back around, are going to be the ones who's perceived to be reverenced by these creator gods when they return, because you are the guys who protected this for us. Right? It all goes back to these creator gods and those who are going to be ride or die with these creator gods to the end. Now, religion,
like the fifth element.
That's what that sounded like. Yeah.
Religion has come in to blind the masses even away from the true identity of the creator gods. We say God, G-O-D, which is a German word that has no meaning of relationship between man and the source whatsoever. The word G-O-D has nothing to do with relationship. Period. Right? Yet this is a word that is reverenced. Like you said, when we say, oh God, we feel this. And that's all because of what we've been educated to believe that is. Right? The creator gods who came here were many. There were several of them. You had one walking through the garden in the cool of the day. You had another one that one called a serpent. All the same beings.
Okay, hold on.
Sorry.
Wait. Because people might be having a difficult time following that.
Okay.
What he's talking about is in the book of Genesis.
Yes, Genesis 3.
And the way it's translated in English, right?
Yes.
It's God.
Yes.
But if you look at it in Hebrew,
Elohim.
it's Elohim.
Yes.
Right? And
These
anytime
beings.
you see a Semitic language,
Yes.
wherever you see the ending letters, which would be English, YM.
Yes.
In Hebrew or any Semitic languages, Yad,
Yes.
Mim.
Yes.
That denotes plurality.
Come on, brother.
Okay, so well, you have the singular term of God is Elo.
Yes. Yes.
And then you have the plural term, and we're only speaking in the Bible.
Yes.
That would be Elohim.
Yes.
Which means gods.
Yes.
Plural, these beings.
Those who from heaven to
Right.
earth came.
Right. Now, the singular is Elo. And you have to understand Semitic languages, Hebrew, Arabic, same language, different
Yes.
dialect.
Yes.
So Hebrew is Elo,
Yeah.
Arabic is Allah or Illah,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. All the
Hebrew
same.
is
Yes.
Elohim,
Yes.
Arabic is Allahumma.
Yes.
Plurality.
And in Egypt, it was the Neteru.
Neteru. In Babylon,
Yes.
it was Balaam.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Or in Africa, Orisha.
And in Sumeria, it was the Anunnaki.
In Sumeria, Anunnaki.
Yes, all the same.
So that's what
Genesis.
that's what Genesis that Steve is going into is about.
Yes. Because go ahead, I'm sorry.
But let me just say this too, to talk about why it's important. Now that we get into words and all of that.
Yeah, man.
We did the nigga show where we talked about the N-word.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't want to let the N-word go because we're dealing with a sliver of our history.
Yeah.
When you talk about slavery, the transatlantic slave trade, you're talking about a small, very small yet impactful portion of our history as people. And you're only talking about a small group of our people. In terms of the diaspora, the African global diaspora of people.
Right.
Again, we're under the spell of nationality.
Yes.
You think because the black people live in India that they not black.
Yes.
But the DNA marker tells you 75,000 years ago in southern India is when the first African stepped foot there.
And
Imagine this. If he stepped foot in Africa, he had to pass through some other places before he could even get to India. Excuse me. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. We already got the DNA marker that shows them as shows Africans as Aboriginals in Australia.
Yes, man.
That shows us all across the globe.
And
so you mean to tell me, just watch this, this is why it's important to talk about history and the narrative.
Yeah, man.
Nigga.
Yeah, man.
Niger. Negus. How does it go? Right? From Negus, God.
Yes. God.
Nagus, the serpent king. That's why all of the Egyptians had
From
the
Enki.
Uraeus, right? How do you lose the power of this word meaning God, this word meaning sovereign, this word meaning king, to this word meaning ignorant? You have to understand whoever is in control of your narrative gets to recast you in a role of servitude.
Yeah.
You're going to go from the negus to the nigga.
And the people who control your society can make the words what they want them to be.
Yikes.
And you got to remember, in this language that we speak, we call it a language, but it's a dialect. It's made up of 4 different languages. It is a bastard dialect, right? And we have reverence for this language, and the words don't mean the same as they do when you go to the more Semitic language. You'll find out that the words do not mean the same. That's why most people who translate it into the Western civilizationized world's way of speaking, most people were killed with their books. Most people were crucified with their translations of holy works when they translated it into the bastard language. And that's why us as black people, we have to be very, very careful of where we receive our God from. Because whether it's Jew, it doesn't matter what the ethnicity, so-called ethnicity is of a European person, a black person is not looked at as a godly person to a European person, at least outwardly.
Say more.
You understand? So black people have to be careful of who we worship. We have to be careful of who we imitate. The Bible says in Deuteronomy to enjoy the spoils of the land, but do not leave any of them living, because if you do, and he named the Canaanites and the Jebusites
and the Amorites,
and the Hittites. He named them all in Deuteronomy, and he said, do not leave any of them living or breathing, because if you do, they will teach you their detestable ways, and you will pray to their gods.
But let me take it even higher. To me, all of that is whatever.
Yes,
true.
It is,
because to me, as we touched on earlier, Dr. G, God and you are inseparable. Now, what do I mean by God? Can we?
Yes.
Okay.
Come on.
Can we? Fuck religion.
Come on.
I've already said that.
Thank you.
I'm pro God, anti religion.
Yes, I'm with you.
Do you see?
Yes.
To me, atheists are as religious about their beliefs, Doc, as are the people they're arguing against.
Well, an atheist is without belief.
But he's manifested a belief.
Right.
Let me give you an example.
Right.
Bruce Lee created the most evolved form of martial arts to ever have existed. Jeet Kune Do.
That's Anunnaki.
Right? Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. Right? Jeff, my guy Jeff loves Bruce Lee, right? He trained. He trained in Jeet Kune Do.
Wow.
The most advanced. Do you know Bruce Lee discontinued Jeet Kune Do? Said, no, we're not teaching this no more. You know why? Because his thought process was, I want to create a form that is without form. And after all of his researches, after all of his studying, after all of his training, he stopped and said, damn, I just created another form. And so he disbanded it. You feel what I'm saying? Again, when we talk about, oh, am I a Jew? Am I a Hebrew? Am I a Christian? You're just in a form.
Yeah.
You're in a template. Now, scientists already understand anything that's within the three-dimensional time and space continuum is matter, which is energy asleep. Whenever something materializes,
Vibration.
it is energy asleep. So what do they say? Well, okay, what is energy awake? It's just energy. It's waveforms. It hasn't collapsed into a physical form. This is heavy shit.
Yeah, I love it.
So my whole point is we collapse an idea around a belief
physical.
and then say, okay, this is the way to go.
No.
Right.
Yeah, and it's all based on perception.
Krishnamurti, truth is a pathless land.
Yes.
In other words, there's no path or specific path that has a monopoly on the truth that will get you to the truth of yourself.
Because I was going to say, truth is what's true to self.
Right.
And not what you bring into self. What the inner self is trying to get you to protrude outside of self is what the truth is. And like I said, that voice is so small. The real you is so tiny to you. You think that this flesh is running the show. But the real you is the one that's telling you, no, it's 2 a.m. Don't stop at the gas station tonight. I know you need gas. Go home.
Right.
I got a crazy thought I got to share with you because this is a wonderful conversation. One of the things that most religions have in common is a connection to a source. And so I'm thinking, what is the purpose of having to need to be connected to a source? And I was thinking, if I wasn't connected to anything, I couldn't evolve. When I'm connected to a source, I'm then in the state of becoming and evolving. Mm-hmm. But if I disconnect myself from any source, then I'm spinning my wheels in the present, not evolving at all, just kind of stuck in this purgatory limbo.
Oh my God!
And and I'm thinking that there's something about that you come from something, and that you're part of you're kind of part of that journey, but you also can take the hero's path. And you don't have to just be a passive part of evolution. Right. You can direct it. So there's a combination between that. In fact, I have a Steve Jobs anecdote. A friend of mine is a guy named Craig Marshall. He was a monk for 35 years in the Self-Realization Fellowship, and then he left it. And
Paramahansa Yogananda.
Exactly. And what happened is he made available to Steve Jobs the autobiography of a yogi. In fact, that was the only book on Steve Jobs' iPad. He read it over 100 times, and everybody at his funeral got a copy of it. And Steve Jobs was talking to Craig when he was a monk, and he said, so tell me about why'd you become a monk? Steve asked Craig, and Craig said, well, it's kind of interesting because what I realized is when you're kind of into this kind of Zen kind of thing, you're at one with the universe and you're not fighting it. You're kind of going along with it. But you can also take the hero's journey, which is not to conflict with it. I mean, you do have willpower, and it's a blend of both of them. And Steve Jobs said to Craig, that could be one of the most interesting things I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. The blending of being part of something, but also having some will to do something with it. So anyway, I'm just going to stop there to see if any of that made any sense to anybody here.
Well, I just wanted to just use what you said about being connected to the source and not connected to the source for Black people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you said that there's you feel like not being connected to the source means it feels like you're just in a stuck place, right?
You're just spinning your wheels.
You're spinning your wheels.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You may not be stuck, but you're not going anywhere.
You're not going anywhere. That's exact. Spinning your wheel is wonderful. Now, I want to look at the black religious sect of my race, right? Black people have been Christians for a long, long time, right? Mm-hmm. Without the proper education of what it is, who the people are, what life really is outside of this God outside of you. When they took God away from black people, they disconnected us from the source.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Hey. This is some spiritual weed right now. Let's roll it up and smoke it. Say that one more time.
When they took God away from black people, they disconnected us from the source.
So this is how I translate what you're saying. God is synonymous with self-knowledge.
My people perish from the lack of knowledge.
Hosea 4:6. Now, when they do that, this is killing me right now. This is killing me. Wait a minute. Self-knowledge is your deity.
Self-knowledge creates your relationship with the Most High.
Wow.
There's people walking around talking about they got relationships with God. I got my personal relationship with God, and they don't even look in the mirror.
Damn.
They don't even wear their own hair. They don't even like their own skin.
Ooh.
And you have a relationship with the Most High that created that beautiful skin that you don't like. You haven't even got past that part.
Hold it a bokosha.
You understand? You haven't even
Right.
got past the small part of relationship, yet you have this great relationship. If you don't know thyself, you cannot know the Creator, because you're gonna misperceive the Creator as something because of your distortion of self. Wow. You have to be clear with self. You have to allow the path to be open to self, but you got to remember, on this path, you got molestation, abuse. You have all these things planted in your, I won't say in your way, but you have all these catalysts that distract you from knowing self. I was abused. It was my fault. I'm ugly. My husband beats me, so I'm not worth a thing. I'm ugly. You get it? Resistance comes in these areas. It's called resistance. Christian folk called it the devil, but it's called resistance. Resistance comes to stop you from doing your work and finding that path to self. That's what resistance is. You were bullied in school, so now you're an insecure person the rest of your life. Out of the 4 years you were bullied, the rest of your 50 years you're scared to speak. You see what I'm saying?
But who's a bigger bully than religion?
Well, there's no bigger bully than religion, because religion is a psychologically damaging thing for the person who believes that God is not within them.
Damn.
If you believe that you're unworthy of that is within you, you're nothing. Black people believe that they are unworthy. God has proved that they're less than because we don't have money. God has shown us that we're less than because the average other cultures do not like us. Do you understand?
When we come back, how do you...
No, we don't have a break yet. Go ahead.
Okay, there's something about religion. Just the word has the illusion of tangibility. It's different than spirituality.
Yes.
And maybe the relief is it's the illusion of there's something tangible to grab onto, whereas when I look inside myself, it starts getting murky and it's ill-defined, and I can't look into myself, but I can grab onto a religion. Like, I'm not a very religious person. People say to me I'm spiritual. I don't even know what that means. I'm in touch with humanity. I mean, every day, the pain, the anger, the fear, I feel it in my skin. All through my skin every day. And I don't know what to call that other than in touch with humanity, but that's what I'm calling it. I have no other word for it. But what about that? There is some relief. Oh, a religion is something tangible you can grab onto when you're floating inwardly. But say something about that.
Well, because once again, the perception of God has been taken away from you. So to reverence in God, finally, you've made it to a place that you should be able to find within yourself. When you finally get to that moment emotionally where you feel chills over your body and you know that the Spirit of God is there, you're accepting that from somewhere else. You're still not attaching it with self. And the God force, the frequency of love that was pinched off for you to come and have your fleshly experience, it has all the time in the world. If you don't get it this time, if you don't get over your anger, your insecurity, your egotistic, whatever it is that you have to get over to get to that expansion in consciousness, which is a greater expansion in love. If you miss this journey, you're going to just pick more parents and come and do it again. See, they don't teach you that. In religion, they teach you. They want to scare the shit out of you. They want to scare the hell out of you by telling you that this physical life is all you got. And that when you go to the ground, that is the end and that's over. And that is a lie. There is no such thing as death. The body only returns back to what it came from. The spirit, the entity, the God force that is within you. And if you don't believe me, there's a God force there. You can blow some invisible shit on the back of your hand and I can prove it's there. And nobody can tell you that it wasn't blown. You didn't feel it. You get it? That God force that's there, that we can prove that's there, is forever. It cannot be bargained or sold or beneath God. You came and put up catalysts for your own journey. You came for your own expansion as a consciousness, which is a part of a body, a gestalt of consciousness.
Of you, yes.
Yes.
Oh, listen, ladies and gentlemen, this shit is getting crazy. I know I shouldn't be cursing. I got to take a quick break, but man, oh man, Shevitz. Today's show is off the rails. We want to know if religion is relevant. Do we need it to proceed forward? Should we adopt a more humanist approach?
Selfness approach.
Does religion teach global sustainability? Surely God knew we would advance technologically and that we would become very wasteful.
Come on.
Where are the instructions for sustainability? How to sustain the planet within the Quran, within the Bible, within the Dharmapada, within the Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah.
Where are the sustainability laws? You said the Bible is instructions. What is it? Bible? Before leaving Earth? What is it? Basic instructions before leaving Earth. Well, goddamn it, why isn't sustainability and recycling and all of that in the book? If God is infinite, how come there's not a new page added every day that gives us new information from the infinite source of knowledge? We've got to take a quick break. We'll be back in 2.2. We got some extra people coming through. It's going down. The ZoWhat Morning Show. Ladies and gentlemen, today's topic, man, it's up against your neck. I know you're uncomfortable. That's the one thing that, listen, if you don't get anything from this book or from this show, please get this. It doesn't matter if we're talking about religion or if we're talking about your personal belief about just the world.
Yeah.
If you can't stomach a divergent opinion, an oppositional opinion, you're an emotional child.
Yeah.
You're a spiritually emotional child.
Yeah.
You have to be able to listen to oppositional opinions. Adults do that.
They try.
Oh, Krishnamurti said something so powerful. The quote was, intelligence is being able to observe a thing without judgment.
No question.
I mean, people tune out.
It's unconditional.
He done said some shit about Jesus. I'm out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he done said something about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't listen. He done said something about the Jews.
He done
I'm
said
out.
the word.
You know, one of my favorite quotes I mentioned, but it fits right with that. It's from a British psychoanalyst, Wilfred Bion. He said,
Just gonna cut me off like that though?
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
All right.
He said the purest form.
got a beard now.
This is the way to be. This is the way to be fully present with other people. The purest form of listening is to listen without memory or desire.
Expectation.
Because when you listen with memory, you have an old personal agenda. When you listen with desire, you have a present or future personal agenda. But you're not listening to the other person and going where they're at. Can I mention something about suicide that fits in here since I'm a suicide specialist?
Yeah.
No, we were talking about universal laws before.
Yeah.
And so I'm a medical doctor, and I believe that psychological wounds are somewhat like physical wounds, which means you have to go in to the core, clean them out, put a drain in, and trust that they will heal from the inside out. And so when I used to see highly suicidal people, I don't do it anymore, I'll train people, I would say, I'm not going to give you a solution or advice because that would only be a way to deal with my anxiety. I'm going to hang out with you in hell because you're all alone there. And when you feel that I'm not going to abandon you and you don't have to earn it, you're going to be the one who's going to say, maybe we should do something about this, but I am not going to tell you what you need to do just to make me feel better. And so if we could listen into people and hang out with them in their hell, their fear and their anger, without imposing any kind of agenda or solutions or advice that serves us and not them, we could change the world. But it's a tough sell.
Wow. Let me just say, we got a new guest in the building. Comedian, actor, and let me just say, I've always said this, and this is a brother I rely on. I've always said this, and I'm not going to back off of it today. January 9th, 2017. I don't fuck with religion, but I fuck with God. I know it's brash, it's harsh. I believe in God and prayer. A brother that I rely on to pray for me all the time is this brother right here.
Amen.
He might be Christian. I'm not a Christian. You know, I know the book backwards and forwards in multiple languages. I'm not finna bang on him for that. What I know is this man will pray for you and shit will be different afterwards. That's all I know. And that's why I invited him to the show. People say, well, Zoe's contradiction.
Power with that prayer.
Do you understand?
I'm talking about.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. The Word was God. That means we have the power to speak things into existence. The man who thinks he can and the man who thinks he can't are both right. As a man thinketh, so is he. Buddha, all is made of mind. Robert Anton Wilson, whatever the thinker thinks, the prover will prove. Do you understand?
Reality will prove.
So now understand this is about to get deep again.
Yeah.
When we talk about there's no demarcation between you and God.
Yeah.
This is the example I use for the kids. You guys remember the 3 little pigs? The story, the 3 little pigs? Mm-hmm. Okay, you got 3 little pigs building 3 separate structures. The quality of the structure keeps the wolf, i.e. Satan, out. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. That demon that's chasing you, that wants to eat you up. So now watch this. The construct of the building, you got straw, you got sticks, and then you have bricks. Mm-hmm. Now, understand this. Spiritually speaking, whatever house you live in is based on the content of your consciousness. If you got faulty bullshit beliefs in your mind, you will construct a reality built out of either sticks or straw, easily blown down by your adversary. But when you start to upgrade the quality of your thought process by first challenging the bullshit you have believed to be true, make it verify itself.
Yes.
Make it qualify its existence within your spirit. Now you can begin to build reality constructs made of, quote unquote, metaphysically speaking,
Yes.
bricks.
Yes.
You can upgrade the building material.
That's relevant to you.
That's relevant to you. All I'm saying is, if black people, because we the ones who believe the bullshit the most. My homeboy, Antonio Moore, lawyer, talked about how black people just got washed away in Obama's celebrity and the symbology.
Color of his skin, yeah.
Right? And, oh, it's a black man. But if we did worse under him in 8 years than any other president.
Of course.
We didn't do good at all.
No.
We did bad under him. He didn't speak out on shit that needed to be spoken out on. Do you understand what I'm
Wasn't there
saying?
for that.
He wasn't. So again, we get caught up in the celebrity dope. We'll smoke the perception. And all I'm saying is religion plays a part in that.
Oh, no question. You have to be opened up somehow. We have to open your mind up somehow, because once we get your mind opened up, then we can put anything in it we want. It's like an empty hard drive. If I erase your hard drive and I'm the owner of that hard drive, I can put on it whatever I choose to. Because now your hard drive has been erased. And we were erased of self. And whoever we come from, we were erased of that knowledge.
Get that shit up out of
here. And
here.
it was given, we were given another God, another perception of God, another name, another picture, a whole nother way of expressing God we were given than what we come from as the children of Ham. Because at that time, there was no separation from man and God.
You think you were both erased and then deleted?
Yeah, well, you're not deleted because we have a DNA within us. You see the color of my skin? It still matches who I come from. Whether that was 10,000 years ago, that you
100,000,
you could not delete that melanin right here. I'm still
yeah.
the color of the God that created my God. You get it? So that DNA still speaks and still thrives to know. We come over and over again to remember so that we can get back and we can connect the DNA that those creator gods didn't connect back up. See, those creator gods came and disconnected some stuff so that we would stay at a certain frequency that they can thrive from. When we're sad, we're down, we're miserable, not understanding that that's a part of God in life and don't love it and appreciate it.
Wow.
Those creator gods get energy from that.
Well,
wow.
With the Bible.
Let me intro you real quick. I got a question.
All right, go right ahead.
My man Rob is here, and I got to get him in on this because this is real talk. He took a long time to get here. As the Bible's authors cannot be verified by sources outside of the Bible, how do you know that the book is true?
Okay. Let's
just Rob, get in here.
That's a good question.
Fair question.
How do you know that the author's word is true? And the Bible says, as you had spoken earlier, first was word. The word is, was, and God is the word. In Revelations, it says the same, just like it says in Genesis. The Bible says in Revelations, holy, holy, holy. God is, he was, he will ever be. He was the author and the finisher of our faith. He is.
Could I just say something really quick? It doesn't say that God was the word in Genesis, does it?
No, it says in John.
Thank you.
It says in
John.
Well, I just wanted to correct that.
No, but in Genesis,
it doesn't say that God was the word.
No,
That's something
Genesis
was
is something else.
Okay.
But once again, if you're honestly saying that this is there's many authors of the Bible.
Yeah.
Okay.
No question.
We can let's tackle that right now and just say this.
Okay.
It's the word of God, undisputed. Period.
Okay.
I believe in what the Bible says, and and the Bible is really just living out in my life.
Right.
And I can see that. We can see it in the end times that it is.
Yeah.
Now, many people do variations, interpretations of the Bible.
Yeah.
Therefore, you have
There's a lot of different Bibles.
There is, and things get lost in translation.
The truth doesn't need to be translated, though.
Truth doesn't need to be translated, but I'll say this, and this is the easiest analogy. I'm a martial artist as well. My father was a great martial artist.
Yeah.
But as he taught me certain things, and as I taught my son certain things, it's called a variation.
Yeah.
You're not going to be the same as the original.
Yeah.
Okay. There are also variations that, vary in what we're doing in skilled work. Mm-hmm. So that's what it is.
But when you teach your son to throw a punch, that has and always will be a punch.
That will always will be a punch. But once again, an elbow is an elbow, but there's 3 different types of elbows, 4 different types of elbows.
Yeah.
It depends on how you throw it.
Yeah.
Now, once again, the word of God is the word of God. It's not going to change.
Right.
The Bible tells us, God is the same today, tomorrow, forevermore. Mm-hmm. And it sure is. as Zoe was saying earlier, do we need faith in 2017? And as I'm
No, religion.
Do we need religion?
He said religion.
Okay, forgive me. Religion. Do we need religion? But as you also stated, you believe in God, not religion, not anything organized, but it's the same thing. I believe there's one Bible that we're being taught from. As Muslims believe there's one Quran. If other people believe that there's their doctrine. But if you can go to Second Thessalonians 2:3, it's telling us on how people are losing the faith, how people are falling from the faith. In Proverbs 17:18 how it says phony people and phony preachers will be deceiving others and them themselves being deceived. And that's how it is. People are falling from the faith because they're being deceived by others. And as you had said earlier, brother, you had said that there are many phony people teaching other people something. People aren't learning for themselves.
Educated people.
They're not being educated. But as we're not picking up a Bible ourselves and learning ourselves for ourselves, you can be swayed by anybody. That's like people who get on the internet and say, hey, I'm going to go to Yahoo News. Well, Yahoo is the one in charge of the content.
Well, when it comes to picking up the Bible, though, this is a journey that I've taken. When it comes to picking up the Bible, trying to understand it on your own, when you've already been indoctrinated by the religious sense, you're only working towards that indoctrination. When you study the Bible and you don't know the etymology of words, you're going to be misled.
Etymology, language.
Thank you.
The various languages that the book was written in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You have to go at the Bible, at religion, fully loaded, or you're going to be misguided by that religion. You're gonna believe at some point that you're separate from the Most High. That you're separate from God.
Let's ask Rob.
Yes.
Rob, Ron, does Christianity teach separatism? Does religion teach separatism?
And my discovery, no.
I can show you in the Bible where God talks and tells you not to marry the Canaanite woman. Yes.
Well,
Are you talking about Abraham?
The Canaanite
Yes.
one
He
is
told
the most
God-
directly.
God was racist. He said, do not marry the Canaanite woman, period. Go to Samaria and get Egypt and get your wife.
But he also had spoken to Ruth and Naomi, and instead of Ruth going back to her people, she stayed with Naomi and went to hers.
Free will.
Therefore, she found her
Free
man.
will.
And
Esau did the same
redeemed.
thing. He got mad at his parents and dated the Canaanites on purpose to give them grief.
But there are many instances in the Bible when God has said, he had given us strict instructions.
Heck yeah.
To stay by his doctrine and say, okay, this is the way I'm
Yes.
going to lead you. But God gives us free will. He's a gentleman. He doesn't push himself on you. Therefore, our free will switches us up where we're going, you know what? I'm going to go this way. I'm going to find Halle Berry with the light skin and a slim booty instead of Whoopi Goldberg with the dark skin and the big butt.
The dreads, yeah.
But I'm just saying it's like that. And then I've got friends here, a lot of friends that, I pray with. Karen Provo Johnson, her husband Keith Johnson, who's a minister, Mo Jones, Rugley, and then Pella Parker, Bradham, who's a friend of mine, and also Keisha Ephraim, who's also an evangelist, and she's a prophetess. And once again, everyone who's been tuning in, basically we fellowship together, we've prayed together, but we've encouraged one another. And that's one thing the Bible teaches, that we encourage one another.
Is God logical?
Wow. That's, and you know what? God is infinite. We're finite. So what he deems logical in his sense goes way beyond our way of thinking. His thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are not our ways.
Well, if that's the case,
So
if that's the case, maybe you guys can help me on this. If God is not logical or can't be defined as logical, then by right, no one can say this is the way. Now, Jesus said, I am the way.
That's right. I am the way. I'm the truth and the life. Yeah.
But he did not say he was God.
But in many scriptures, it also says that
I and my Father are one.
He is a lamp. He is a lamp to your feet. He will direct your path. There's many parables, and remember, in the Bible, Jesus spoke parables because there were people attacking him. There were people going for his life.
Do you agree with the idea that there's no such thing as human nature? There's only animal nature and the human potential to rise above it. And maybe this whole thing about religion is a way to rise above it in the right way.
Rise above the animal nature?
Yeah, that we have animal nature, but we have the human potential and possibility of rising above it. And maybe the true purpose of religion is that we rise above it in the right way.
Okay. Well, let's break it down. Let's break it down in one way, one or two ways. Tower of Babel was built. And Nimrod wanted to get so high so he can talk to God directly. I'm going to talk to God. I'm going to make this high. Everyone spoke the same language. God said, wait a minute. You're not on my same level.
What was that language?
What was that language? I have no idea.
It's in the Bible.
I wasn't around there with it. I wasn't around there with it. I wasn't around there with it.
It's there.
But see, for me,
No, but hold on.
That's a good
Hold on.
point.
But I'm just saying, once God spoke and everyone fell into a deep slumber and then awoke and speaking different language, everyone had to find their person who spoke their language.
So God put everybody to sleep.
Well, what God did was say, wait a minute, you can't get this knowledge yet. You can't, once again, you can't be God. You can't. We're not gods. And as Doc had said, do we have an animal instinct or just a basic human instinct? We're not animals. We're not animals because we have opposable thumbs, and animals do certain things that we don't do. Animals mate just to procreate. We don't.
Well, that's what they call our sexual
The most basic,
our
yeah.
sexual drive. They call it a sex drive. That sex drive is called a sex drive, but that's your animal nature. That's your animalistic nature that wants to procreate.
But it's the most basic. It's the most basic of emotions. Just like crying, getting angry, having. We what it is. Let's say it this way. In a biblical sense, you're feeding your flesh. Things that don't align with God, we're feeding our flesh. If I'm going to go out and just...
What if you like sex?
What if you like sex?
What if on the inside it makes you feel good and you're in alignment with yourself when you do it?
Then you're feeding your flesh because it's a basis instinct. And if all you're going to do is just have sex all day, you got to have nourishment. You have to have intellectual nourishment. But if all you're doing is the most basic instincts, you might as well be an animal.
Wow. Okay,
and
listen.
in being an animal, there was somebody in the Bible who was turned and basically living like an animal. When Nebuchadnezzar was disobedient to God, what did he do? Bam, he had him on all fours, crawling around, eating grass like the animals in the field. And it wasn't until he finally came to self and looked up and just said, my God. And he was recognized and noticed again, and God brought him back.
Well, that first batch of people. Okay, sorry.
Make that point, and then.
Well, in the first creation story in Genesis, when he says that I shall create man that have dominion over blah blah blah, and then really quickly right after that he says male and female I created ye them. This is before he took the dust of the ground, the second creation of this Adam character.
Was that Genesis 2:7?
Yes, those people, those Lulu Amu that was created.
Lulu Amelu.
I'm very sorry.
That's all right. I got you.
Listen, thank you very much.
I'm supporting your whole movement right now.
Listen, they ate grass. These people were created to help these creator gods obtain gold from this planet. This is what the creation of this human person was, right? That's why the Bible says, and the gold was good in the land before any creation story was ever mentioned, because that was the mission here, was the gold.
Okay, the gold, or are you saying gold as in the physical,
yes,
the metal?
Yeah, the Bible says, and the gold was good in the land.
Oh.
All right, so look.
And this, sorry.
That shit is heavy.
I just...
Go finish it.
I'm just saying.
My
interpretation is it's like you're almost saying that the goal is almost like science fiction. That aliens came down, they deposited this, and we're it's.
Well,
it's
you
in a
can
whole
call
different,
them whatever you want.
No, I'm just saying. To me, it's just in a whole different. It's in a whole different spectrum where if it's biblical talking, we're going straight for the Bible.
The Bible says, "And the Spirit of God hovered above the deep." That's somebody coming into a different place.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? They're coming
listen.
from God. This God that we're speaking of, whoever's telling the story, who's observing this, is watching this being come from one place to this place.
Here we go. Listen.
They came here from somewhere, and it was a bunch of them. It said, "Let us."
Hey,
and then it turns
you're
around and
blaspheming
says,
now.
And the sons of God saw that the daughters of man. What
Genesis
sons
chapter
and what
6?
God? Because if Jesus was the only son, there's an answer that I need right here, because this says clearly. Now the sons of God saw that the daughters of man were fair and took of them wives that they chose. Now, are these the first creator gods that came, or are these the sons that they had?
And all of the
But are you
children
talking
born
about-
to them
are you
were
talking about
children of
angels?
great renown.
Yeah, but are you talking about angels as well? Because sons of God are
Hold
angels.
on. Hold on.
See,
We
yeah.
got it. We got to take a quick break.
We can go.
We're gonna come back.
I love it. Keep it.
We can go on different. But I'm sorry. But I'm just. Hold on. I'm just saying that you
We
can't.
call them angels. We
call them angels.
We call these Anunnaki
But you can't.
angels.
Anunnaki. Okay, there we go. So we're talking about Anunnaki. We're talking about Nephilims.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
we're talking
word-
about the
no,
Book of Enoch.
No, Nephilim.
Okay,
Nephilim,
but no,
the
a fallen
word
angel.
Nephilim-
Yeah, fallen angels.
The word Nephilim means those who from heaven to earth came.
But-
It does not mean fallen
But
angels.
I'm just saying the bottom line is there are many interpretations of even in our conversation.
Okay,
We're
now
interpreting things
wait,
different.
hold on.
God is God. That's
Okay, hold
it.
on.
No.
Hold
And to me, God is God.
It's not true,
Hey,
though.
guys,
Okay,
hold on.
I love that. I'm sorry.
Hold on. Shit. See, this is why people say don't talk about religion and politics.
No, but he's getting on something. But he's getting onto another plane. It's like, brother, I can match you with that intelligence.
Well,
I got YouTube too. No,
No. Hey, I just look like this.
No, but honestly,
I just look like this.
There's real scholarship to what he's saying. There's real scholarship to what you're saying. So we don't want to marginalize either side of the argument. Listen, I got to take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to do Zoe's final thought. He just got here so late. Damn it. But we'll be back. We'll be back in 2 minutes. All right. I had to quiet the room down a little bit. Zoe's final thought. Before I get to my final thought, let me just say this. All the musical sounds brought to you by DJ Julian Ramirez. You can follow him this is Twitter, at DJ Julian Ramirez. All right. Instagram, same thing. DJ Julian Ramirez. This Thursday, catch Julian at Vibe Thursdays, located at the Westin Bonaventure Hotel in downtown LA. Please support our DJ Julian Ramirez. Now let me get to the point. My final thought. Sorry, Rob got here a little late. Let me just say, God is religion and God. The terms are ideas. Ideas can be three-dimensional prisons that can either be a free-flowing artist space or a constrictive prison. I believe this, and I'm inflexible and rigid, and I'm not going to change it. Whatever you believe, you will manifest. That's just the way your brain works. That's just the way you're plugged into reality. Scientists have already figured it out. And that knowledge that they figured out is old. But it's applied to bullshit like cell phones. The most successful form of science on planet Earth is quantum mechanics. And quantum mechanics produces cell phones. We wouldn't have satellites, electricity, all of the things that we use, right? Computers, we can't compute without quantum mechanics. In quantum mechanics, they discovered something called the double slit experiment, where they found out that light can break down into discrete packets called quanta, photons, right? Wait a minute. We can shoot one of these photons through a double slit, and when we're not watching, it'll make a band of lines on this wall. But when we watch, it goes through and acts as a particle, a physical thing. But when we're not watching, it turns into energy? So you mean our observation affects reality? So you can believe God is a rock, or you can believe that God is Jesus. It will manifest as such in your life. Now ask yourself a question. How can you really know the substance of a belief system if, as Steve said, you don't know the language that it was originally written in? When you're dealing with language, you're dealing with translation. When you're dealing with translation, now you got to go in and say, well, what was the original intent and meaning behind the original translation? And when you're dealing with human beings who seek to marginalize and govern and subjugate other human beings, now you got to ask the question, is there a fucking agenda behind the translation? Now, if Constantine at the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD was like, we got to get all of these people under our rule, under one belief system, we have to incorporate some of the shit they believe in, and we have to actually erect a new belief. Because he wasn't. I know. So again, if you don't know all of this, why are you offended when people say you should? Or when people say, let's investigate together. What kind of reality am I building? If I was born in Israel, I would be Jewish by default. By default. If I was born, I'm saying in Israel, within the confines of what Israel is, if I was born there, and that's the predominant belief system, hey, there we go. If I was born in Saudi Arabia, hey, Islam. And what type of Islam? Right? Right. Or if I was born in India, bam, depending on where in India. If I'm born in Pakistan, I might be Sikh. If I'm born in southern India, I might be. You understand? So if we're not brave enough to question the one source that has all of the answers, all we are scared beings projecting a safe place to exist in. I know. It's a bigger picture. And so this show is designed to just push you to question, push you to read. It's as simple as going on Amazon and typing in Bible flaws. You know how many books are written that expose the flaws in Bibles? Racism in the Bible, sexism in the Bible, slavery in the Bible. All you got to do is research that. Islam, Judaism, Christianity are all brother, sister religions. They're connected. Hold on, you're off right now. This is my final thought. So you got to be here on time. You got to be here on time, pimp. And so all I'm saying is research, study. There's a book out there called, what's that book? It's a book that marries science, the discovery of quantum mechanics and quantum physics with all the ancient belief systems, Taoism, Buddhism. I forgot what it's called. I'll find it and post it on Twitter. But dude, all of the belief systems had a germ of truth in it. But we turned it into a practice, and then from a practice into a culture, a way of life, and now we're disconnected from the act. You're supposed to graduate from religion. You're not supposed to be a perpetual student in that. That's a school. That's what the Egyptians, that's why the Greeks waited 20 years to even get invited into the mystery schools. But that's a whole nother discussion. That's right. So let me do this. You can turn everybody's mics on. I want to, Jesus, because I knew I was going to be interrupted. So let me do this. Let me get everybody's info. Steve, where can they find you? How do they connect with you, brother?
Listen, you can catch me every day on the West Coast from 11 to 1 on the base of Boston. You can get the TuneIn app. Go to the base of Boston. You can follow me on Instagram at Stephen Russell Harts, HARTS, or at Stephen_speaks, Facebook, Stephen Russell.
I love it. Ron?
Rob Perron, ROBBPERON. You can hit me on Facebook. You can hit me on Instagram. Facebook, you'll see any type of scriptures, spiritual, and inspirational quotes that I post. 50 Shades of Funny, which is a group on Facebook, and that's my comedy page. But
I love it. Dr. G?
Yeah, at Mark Goulston, Twitter, tweet me. Also go to LinkedIn. I'm serving up a series of Steve Jobs returns outtakes, video outtakes, and last few I'm speaking as him. So if you want to hear some more from him from the grave, check it out on LinkedIn.
From the grave, you're really bought into this. Okay, cool. Really quickly,
where's Jeff?
Oh, he's in New York.
Okay, for Jeff. I've known Jeff over 25 years. I'm angry. Okay.
All right. So let me do this really quickly. www.gofundme.com/Zoe Williams. Please continue to support this. This is how we keep this alive. This is how we pay Frank. Go to my GoFundMe page. Support us. If you have a black-owned business, a small business, we will promote you for 4 weeks straight if you drop $200 on our GoFundMe campaign. That's www.gofundme.com/Zoe Williams. We appreciate it all. We will holler at you later on tonight. The Voice of Reason returns. Oh, this shit gonna be crazy tonight. 5 to 7 p.m. Hot Button Radio. We out. Deuces.
Peace.